Success has no age, but regret does. And regret grows when we keep telling ourselves maybe later. My dear friends, some of you are sitting here thinking you're too young. Some of you are watching this thinking you are too late. Too young to be taken seriously, too old to start again. But let me gently remind you of something life has taught me again and again. Life is not impressed by your age. Life responds to your effort. Success does not ask for your birth certificate. It asks for your courage, your consistency, and your character. So today, let me walk with you through 7 simple reminders, not rules for success, but principles for building yourself. Every single day, most people believe life is a competition against others. We scroll through screens and suddenly feel behind. Someone else is earning more, achieving faster, living better. Without realizing it, the mind quietly shifts from growth to comparison. And comparison does something dangerous. It steals joy and it weakens focus. The truth is, life was never designed to be a race against people. It was designed to be a journey of becoming. The real competition is not with the person ahead of you, it is with the person you were yesterday. When you wake up each morning, the most important question is not who is ahead of me, but who am I becoming? Because success is deeply personal. It looks different for different people. For one person, success may be building a business. For another, it may be overcoming fear. For someone else, it may simply be staying consistent in a world full of distractions. When you compare journeys, you forget contexts. You forget that some people had a head start, some had support, and some had battles you may never see. Comparing your path to theirs is like measuring depth in different oceans without knowing what lies beneath. Growth only becomes real when it is intentional. As children, we grow without effort. Time does the work for us. But as adults, growth demands awareness. It requires choices. It requires the humility to admit, I am not where I should be, without self-judgment. That is not weakness, that is wisdom. Growth is not about becoming someone else. It is about becoming a better version of yourself. A little calmer, a little wiser, a little stronger than yesterday. Think of life like climbing a mountain. If you keep turning around to see how fast others are climbing, you will lose balance and stumble. But if you watch your step, place your foot carefully, and keep moving upward, progress becomes steady. Small steps taken with sincerity carry more power than giant leaps driven by ego. One extra page read, one honest conversation, one disciplined hour. These small improvements, when repeated daily, quietly transform a life. Many people quit because they don't see immediate results. They forget that roots grow underground first. No one cheers for roots. No one claps when seeds are planted. But without deep roots, no tree can survive storms. When you commit to being better than yesterday, you are building roots. Patience becomes strength, silence becomes preparation, and one day growth becomes visible, not just to the world but to yourself. Faith teaches us an important lesson here. God does not ask us to outperform others. He asks us to be sincere in our efforts. Progress in the right direction matters more than speed. A slow walk toward purpose is better than a fast run fueled by comparison. When intentions are pure and effort is consistent, results arrive at the right time, not from pressure but from alignment. If you fall today, that does not make you a failure. It makes you human. The only real failure is refusing to stand up and try to improve, even slightly. Life does not demand perfection. It asks for progress. Some days progress may look like discipline. Other days it may look like rest. But as long as you are moving with awareness, you are winning your race. So stop measuring yourself against timelines that were never meant for you. Your journey has its own rhythm, its own lessons, its own beauty. Be patient with yourself. Be honest with yourself. And every night before you sleep, ask only one thing: did I move forward today even by one step? If the answer is yes, then you are already succeeding, because the greatest victory is becoming better than who you were yesterday. Most people wait for a feeling before they begin. They wait to feel inspired, confident, energized already. But life has taught us quietly that motivation is a visitor. It comes and goes. Discipline, on the other hand, is a resident. It stays even when feelings leave. The mistake many make is believing that successful people always feel motivated. They don't. They simply show up even when they don't feel like it. Every transformation you admire was built on ordinary days, not the big moments, not the exciting breakthroughs, but the quiet mornings and tired evenings when someone still chose to do what was necessary. Motivation may help you start, but consistency is what changes your life. And consistency is nothing more than small steps repeated daily with sincerity. Think about how life works in nature. A river does not carve mountains by force but by persistence. Drop by drop, day by day, it shapes stone. No rush, no announcement, just steady movement. In the same way, your habits shape your destiny. One choice may feel insignificant, but repeated choices create massive change. One disciplined hour a day can reshape a future. One ignored responsibility can slowly weaken it. People often overestimate what they can do in 1 week and underestimate what they can do in 1 year. They burn themselves out trying to change everything at once. Then, when they fail, they feel discouraged and quit entirely. But growth doesn't require intensity, it requires continuity. It's better to do a little every day than a lot once in a while. Small consistency builds trust. Trust in yourself. And when you trust yourself, confidence naturally follows. There will be days when you are tired, days when progress feels invisible, days when doubts whisper that your effort doesn't matter. Those are the days discipline matters most. Because discipline is love in action. It is keeping a promise to your future self. When you act with discipline, you are saying, I care enough about my purpose to keep going even when it's hard. Faith and discipline walk together. Faith gives direction, discipline gives structure. Faith says, this matters. Discipline says, I'll do the work today. You don't need to see the full staircase to take the next step. You just need to show up where you are and do what you can with sincerity. Effort offered daily becomes a form of prayer. Silent, humble, powerful. Sometimes progress feels slow because we underestimate the weight of repetition. Think of learning to play an instrument or mastering a skill. At first, movements feel awkward. Results are unimpressive. But repetition matures ability. What once felt heavy becomes natural. What once required effort becomes part of your identity. That's how consistency transforms people. It rewires who you are. Consistency also builds resilience. When you commit to small daily actions, you become less affected by temporary setbacks. A bad day doesn't destroy you because you trust the process. You understand that tomorrow is another opportunity to continue. This mindset keeps people grounded. They don't panic, they don't rush, they stay steady. And steadiness is rare in a distracted world. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Perfect conditions never arrive. Life will always be demanding something from you. There will always be noise, pressure, and uncertainty. Discipline teaches you to move forward despite imperfect circumstances. It doesn't ask for more time or better luck. It asks for honesty and effort today. So if you want to change your life, stop chasing sudden motivation. Build a system. Build routines that support your values. Keep promises small and keep them daily. Even on days when you feel nothing, do something. Because over time, those small faithful actions stack up. And one day you will look back and realize what felt like just showing up was actually building everything you ever needed. There are moments in life when we look at the clock and feel anxious. We see others moving ahead, milestones being achieved, and we quietly ask ourselves, am I late? That question can feel heavy, almost shameful, as if time itself is accusing us. But life has a way of unfolding wisdom slowly, and one of the deepest lessons it teaches is this: being late is very different from being unprepared. What looks like delay is often a season of quiet construction. Every meaningful journey includes a waiting room, a space where little seems to happen on the outside but everything is being shaped on the inside. Seeds do not question the darkness of the soil. They trust the process. They grow unseen before they ever break through to the surface. In the same way, you may feel invisible, overlooked, or behind, but that does not mean nothing is happening. It means life is working on your foundations. Sometimes we want results before we are ready to handle them. We want recognition before responsibility. But timing is not punishment. Timing is protection. There are lessons that can only be learned through patience. There is strength that can only be developed through waiting. If certain doors had opened earlier, the weight behind them may have crushed you. When you understand this, waiting transforms from frustration into faith. Think about how character is formed, not in moments of applause, but in seasons of obscurity. When no one is watching, when progress feels slow, when effort seems unnoticed. These moments build humility, resilience, and emotional strength. They teach you to work without validation, and that ability becomes priceless later when success arrives and distractions multiply. Life is not denying you your moment, it is preparing you to survive it. Each experience, even the painful ones, adds a layer to who you are becoming. Disappointments sharpen wisdom. Failures deepen compassion. Delays refine intention. Nothing is wasted unless you refuse to learn. When you stop resisting the season you are in, growth becomes calmer and clearer. Faith invites us to trust what we cannot see yet. It reminds us that a higher order is at work, even when our plans don't align. You may not understand why the timeline is different from what you expected, but understanding is not a prerequisite for trust. Peace comes when you believe that your journey is being guided, not forgotten. When doubt arises, remember this: meaningful things often take time because they are meant to last. Fast success can excite, but slow development sustains. The depth you gain now becomes stability later. The lessons you internalize today become wisdom you'll rely on tomorrow. You're not standing still, you're being strengthened. So release the pressure to catch up. There is no universal clock measuring worth. Your life is not behind schedule, it is on a unique course. Show up where you are, learn what this season is teaching you, and keep moving forward with sincerity. In time, you'll realize that what felt like delay was actually a gift, shaping you into someone ready for what's next, right when the moment arrives. There comes a point in life when we realize that talent alone is not enough. The world celebrates skills, intelligence, and ability, but time quietly reveals a deeper truth. It is not talent that sustains success, it is character. Talent can open a door, but character decides whether that door remains open. Many people rise quickly, but only those grounded in values remain standing when the winds change. Character is who you are when there is no spotlight. It is how you speak when no one is recording, how you behave when there is no reward attached. It shows up in the small, unobserved moments, returning what isn't yours, choosing honesty when lies are easier, staying humble when pride feels tempting. These decisions seem insignificant at the time, but they quietly define the course of a life. In moments of pressure, talent looks for shortcuts, character looks for integrity, and integrity builds trust. Trust is the true currency of long-term success. People forget what you achieve for yourself, but they never forget how safe, respected, or valued you made them feel. When your character is strong, people want to walk with you, work with you, and stand by you, not because of what you can do, but because of who you are. Life will test values in subtle ways, not dramatic moral dilemmas, but small compromises. A half-truth here, a careless promise there. Slowly, if unchecked, these choices hollow success from the inside. That's why character must be practiced daily, not declared occasionally. It's built through consistency, just like discipline. You don't wake up virtuous one day. You become virtuous through repeated conscious choices. Faith reminds us that success without values is fragile. When achievements come without humility, they inflate the ego. And an inflated ego becomes isolated. Character keeps success grounded. It teaches gratitude when things go well, and responsibility when things go wrong. It allows you to learn from mistakes without losing dignity. It helps you apologize without feeling weak. True strength is quiet. It doesn't need validation. It doesn't demand recognition. It carries itself with calm confidence and deep respect for others. People with strong character don't need to announce their ethics, their actions speak first. They create environments where others feel safe to grow, express, and contribute. And those environments attract sustainable success. Hard times are the true exam. When circumstances are unfair, when effort is overlooked, when criticism arrives uninvited, talent reacts emotionally. Character responds wisely. It chooses patience instead of bitterness, responsibility instead of blame, growth instead of resentment. This is what allows you to rise without losing yourself. In the long journey of life, achievements fade, titles change, applause quiets down. But character follows you everywhere. It becomes your reputation when you are not in the room. Build it consciously, protect it fiercely. Because while talent may take you forward quickly, character will take you forward far and keep you there with peace and purpose. As life moves forward, many people unknowingly carry a heavy weight, not because they have too little, but because they never pause to notice what they already have. The mind becomes conditioned to focus on what's missing, what's delayed, what's imperfect. Over time, this lax-centered thinking drains energy and creates quiet dissatisfaction, even in moments that should feel fulfilling. This is where gratitude changes everything. Gratitude is not pretending that life is perfect. It is recognizing that life is generous, even in difficulty. When you shift your attention from what you lack to what you've been given, your entire emotional posture changes. The same circumstances feel lighter. The same challenges feel manageable. Gratitude doesn't remove problems. It gives you the strength to carry them with grace. Some people measure success by how much they accumulate. But inner peace comes from how deeply you appreciate. Two people can have the same life on paper, yet experience it completely differently, simply because of perspective. One feels constant pressure, the other feels grounded and calm. The difference is not circumstances, it's gratitude. A thankful heart doesn't chase happiness, it recognizes it in ordinary moments. Pressure increases when expectations outgrow appreciation. We begin demanding more from life while acknowledging less. Gratitude restores balance. It reminds us that breath itself is a gift, that waking up is a blessing, that another chance to try again is not guaranteed. When you start your day with appreciation instead of complaint, your problems lose some of their power over you. Faith deepens gratitude. It teaches us that not every hardship is a punishment. Many are lessons. Some are redirections, some are protection. When things don't go as planned, gratitude allows you to say, "There is meaning here, even if I cannot see it yet." This attitude doesn't make you passive, it makes you resilient. You stop fighting reality and start growing through it. Gratitude also shapes how you treat others. When you feel full inside, you become generous outside. You listen better, you judge less, you serve more willingly. A grateful person doesn't live in constant comparison because they are secure in what they've received. They celebrate others without jealousy. They give without keeping score. And this naturally attracts goodwill and trust. In difficult seasons, gratitude becomes a quiet form of strength. It doesn't deny pain, but it prevents pain from turning into bitterness. It reminds you that even in struggle, you are not alone. That even in setbacks, something good is still present, perhaps in the form of support, wisdom, or growth. Gratitude teaches the heart to remain soft even when life feels hard. Make gratitude a daily practice, not an occasional reaction. Speak it, write it, feel it. Not just when things go well, but especially when they don't. Because a grateful heart is not easily shaken. It stays centered when pressure tries to overwhelm. And in a world that constantly demands more, gratitude whispers a powerful truth. You already have enough to move forward with strength, clarity, and peace. At some point in life, everyone encounters pain, disappointment, loss, rejection, failure. These experiences are unavoidable. What truly defines us is not whether we suffer, but what we choose to do with that suffering. Pain can shrink you, or it can awaken something powerful within you. The difference lies in whether you let pain turn inward as bitterness or outward as service. Pain isolates when it remains unexpressed, but when it is transformed into service, it finds purpose. The struggles you survive become the lessons you carry. The wounds you heal become the wisdom you share. Nothing connects hearts more deeply than knowing someone else has walked through darkness and returned with light. Your story, when shared with humility, can become a lifeline for someone else. Many people feel the urge to hide their scars, believing strength means appearing untouched. But real strength is not the absence of pain. It is the ability to grow through it. When you allow your experiences to shape compassion rather than resentment, you turn survival into significance. What once weighed you down begins to lift others up. Service does not always mean grand acts. Sometimes it is quiet presence. Sometimes it is listening without judgment. Sometimes it is offering guidance gently, not forcefully. Even small acts of kindness, when fueled by lived understanding, carry deep healing power. When you help someone else navigate what you once had to navigate alone, your pain finds meaning. Faith teaches that pain is never wasted when intention is pure. Every hardship refines the heart, softens the ego, and deepens empathy. You begin to see beyond yourself. You realize that everyone is carrying something unseen. And this awareness creates kindness, not as a strategy but as a natural response. Pain also shapes humility. It reminds you of your dependence on time, on growth, on grace. It dissolves arrogance and replaces it with gratitude. When you've struggled, you don't look down on others. You reach out. And that willingness to serve without superiority is what makes help truly healing. Serving others doesn't erase your pain, but it reframes it. It shifts focus from, "Why did this happen to me?" to "How can this help someone else?" That shift is powerful. It restores agency. It transforms suffering into contribution. And contribution brings a different kind of fulfillment, one that success alone can never offer. Over time, you'll notice something beautiful. The more you use your pain to serve, the lighter it feels. What once controlled you no longer defines you. You stop identifying as broken and start standing as someone who has healed enough to help heal others. And in that process, you realize a quiet truth. When your pain begins to serve a higher purpose, it no longer owns you. It empowers you. Build does not happen in a single dramatic moment. It happens slowly, quietly, almost invisibly. Every day you are becoming something, whether you are conscious of it or not. The habits you repeat, the thoughts you entertain, the values you honor, all of them are shaping you. That is why the most important project you will ever work on is not a title, a job, or an achievement. It is yourself. Many people are obsessed with outcomes. They want results quickly. They want recognition, validation, and visible success. But life rarely rewards impatience. Chasing outcomes often creates anxiety because outcomes are not fully in our control. Effort is, commitment is, integrity is. When you shift your focus from results to growth, something changes inside you. You become calmer, more grounded, and paradoxically, more effective. Daily self-building is an act of faith. It means showing up without guarantees. It means doing the work even when progress feels slow. It means trusting that what you are investing today will mature in its own time. This is how strong foundations are formed. Quietly, consistently, without shortcuts. People who build themselves are not in a hurry because they understand that depth takes time. Building yourself requires honesty, honest reflection, honest discipline, honest rest. It means recognizing when to push and when to pause. Growth is not about constant intensity, it is about sustainable effort. Some days you strengthen your skills. Some days you strengthen your patience. Both matter. Both are forms of progress. A balanced life is not achieved by force, but by awareness. Faith anchors this process. It offers trust when results are delayed and humility when success appears. Faith reminds you that your worth is not tied to speed or comparison, but to sincerity. When you align your daily actions with higher values, peace follows you even in uncertainty. You stop seeking approval and start seeking alignment. And alignment creates clarity. Over time, the discipline of self-building changes how you face challenges. Problems no longer intimidate you as they once did. You no longer panic in seasons of uncertainty. You trust your ability to adapt because you've invested in understanding yourself. Inner strength replaces external dependence. Confidence becomes quieter, but deeper. Eventually, results do come. Opportunities align, doors open, but by then you are no longer desperate for them. You are ready. You carry yourself with stability and gratitude. Success feels less like winning and more like responsibility. And because you built yourself first, success does not overwhelm you. It rests on you. So commit to the process. Work on yourself daily, not aggressively but patiently. Improve what you can. Let go of what you cannot. Trust that growth compounds. Because when you build yourself every day, life doesn't need to be forced. It unfolds naturally, in its time, in its order, and in its wisdom. When all is said and done, success will never be the loudest voice in your life. Character will. Titles may change, applause will fade, circumstances will rise and fall. But the person you become through it all is what stays with you. That is why life's deepest invitation is not to achieve more, but to grow more. In awareness, in faith, in purpose. Never forget this, your value does not increase when people notice you, and it does not decrease when they don't. You were valuable before anyone applauded. You were worthy before any achievement arrived. When you live from this truth, pressure loses its grip on you. You stop chasing approval and start walking in alignment. And alignment creates a quiet confidence. No praise can give, and no criticism can take away. There will be days when you feel unsure, days when progress feels slow, days when doubt revisits you like an unwelcome guest. Let those moments remind you to return to the basics: honest effort, grateful heart, disciplined action, and faith in something higher than fear. You don't need to control the whole future. You only need sincerity today. Life has a strange way of testing us right before growth appears. Just when you feel tired, something within you strengthens. Just when patience feels difficult, clarity begins forming. Trust that nothing you are doing with good intention is wasted. Every step counts. Every lesson matters. Every honest attempt leaves a mark. Even if the result isn't visible yet, success without humility isolates. Success with gratitude liberates. Keep your heart grounded as your life expands. Remember those who supported you when you were unseen. Remember the lessons that shaped you when life was quiet. And when opportunity finally arrives, hold it with responsibility, not entitlement. Serve when you can. Encourage when it costs nothing. Forgive when holding on only hurts you. These are not distractions from success. They are the foundation of it. A life that only consumes will always feel empty. A life that contributes will always feel meaningful. And here is the truth worth carrying forward. Success has no age, no deadline, no comparison. It responds only to effort guided by purpose. Start where you are. Use what you have. Become better one day at a time. When you focus on building yourself with sincerity, life meets you halfway. So walk forward calmly, faithfully, and patiently. Trust the journey. Trust the process. And trust that when you live with integrity, gratitude, and service, success doesn't just arrive, it stays. Let me leave you with this truth, one that time never changes and faith always confirms. You were not created to rush, compare, or doubt your worth. You were created to grow, step by step, season by season, with sincerity in your heart and purpose in your actions. God is not measuring how fast you succeed. He is watching how faithfully you show up. So don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for confidence to arrive. Don't wait for approval to begin. Start where you are. Use what you have. Give your best today. Build the habit. Strengthen the character. Serve with humility and trust this deeply. When your effort is honest and your intention is pure, nothing you do is ever wasted. Go out and take one small step today, not tomorrow, today. Because when faith meets action, destiny begins to move.